an important development has taken place. Biren Singh, Chief Minister of Manipur, was summoned to Delhi. He had to meet Home Minister Amit Shah. He met senior officers. He was asked questions. He had to give an explanation. The larger issue is, how come the situation in Manipur is not stabilizing? There are thousands of people in segregated areas, in shelter camps. They are afraid to go back. Now the issue is, will Bharatiya Janata Party or BJP or the centre take any action on Biren Singh, or will he continue as the Chief Minister? Will he get support from the leadership, given more time, or will we have a new face? These are questions which are there. But the issue is, he had to come back. He went to Imphal and did a press conference. Manipur Chief Minister Biren Singh, as I said, he met Union Home Minister Amit Shah. He also met BJP National President JP Nadda. He was accompanied by 4 of his cabinet ministers and Manipur BJP President Sarada Devi. The meeting comes days after Manipur witnessed massive violence that claimed more than 70 lives. Though few ethnic communities have demanded the resignation, Biren Singh, the BJP High Command, has not taken up the matter. A lot of people within the community, but our sources tell us that he may get time. Our sources tell us that a decision like this may not be taken soon. But then his tenure is under scrutiny because Manipur is yet to stabilize. What is this SU agreement about, which people were asking?
Well, the suspension of operations agreement that existed between the government and the Kuki militant groups, several of them actually, enforces a regime of suspension of operations. You know what is ceasefire that exists between the government and the Naga rebel group NSCN? It is ceasefire, which means that during the ceasefire, nobody is going to attack each other. But that does not mean your operations stop. You can still conduct operations of a defensive nature, of a precautionary nature. Suspension of operations means that against those particular groups with which the deal has been signed, you are not going to do any kind of operation in their area, even if it is of a purely precautionary nature. So you can't even do any area domination patrol or, a sort of confidence building marches. But if you have a ceasefire, you can do all this, which is why with the Naga groups, you would have seen that the Assam rifles have gone into their camps and seized drugs and stuff like that at various points of time, even seized weapons. So that means that ceasefire is no encounter. Ceasefire is you don't fire at each other. But ceasefire does not mean you go to sleep. Ceasefire means you operate, you keep a watch, you do area domination patrols. Suspension of operations means no operations of any kind against the group with which you have signed it. So this is one step ahead of ceasefire. Now these agreements existed with the Kuki, militant groups, and the government took it as a first step to sign future political agreements which will lead to the surrender of these rebel groups and their disarming of these rebel groups. Here now, with this situation in Manipur as it stands today, I would imagine from my knowledge of Northeast and my experience, these agreements have gone for a toss because all these Kuki militants and this suspension of operation is both sides. So it's not just the security forces, it's also the militants. Now these militants have clearly gone on the rampage. They have used their weapons against the other community, and therefore, in my view, the government also has sent the security forces in this area with a clear brief that anybody found using weapons should be sorted out. So where is the suspension of operation? The suspension of operation of agreement may not have been formally withdrawn, but in effect, that's gone for a toss.
Dr. Rojesh, do you think that this whole agreement has gone for a toss, making things tough for Biren Singh?
Hello, yes, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, actually in this context, to understand what is happening in Manipur, actually we need to know the nature of the violence is actually occurring in the case of Manipur. So in the initial phase on the 3rd May, it appears that it was actually between the two communities of Kuki and the Meitei. But unfortunately, actually, it is coming in a picture that the Tupi militants are actually directly engaging in this conflict. So it seems that this is not more between the Kukis and the Meitei. Rather, it is an organized armed Kuki militant also involving and actually attacking on a particular community. So let me actually give you some point that, on the 3rd May, that on the pretext of actually burning of a centenary hall of the Kuki, there are around 10 villages have been burned down in the first place after the protest against the scheduled tribe demand. But it happened in all the Kuki dominated area in Kangpokpi, in Chandil, and most important in Chochampur and the Bisempur district. So look at the kind of vulnerable that the armed, sophisticated Kuki militants were in among the public and started burning down. And rather, some of the organizations are justifying that it is actually provoked to the firing of that particular centenary hall. But my question would be, nobody had verified that who has done that actually burning of that particular gate.
Now the question, direct question to you is Biren Singh under fire or has he got a long leash?
Well, he's under fire, but I don't think that he's under, his chair is under any kind of threat. The reason he has been summoned to Delhi is, the various situations have been discussed with him, and he has also been asked to, be more proactive in dealing with the situation and not give an impression that, he's just on one side of the fence. And the kind of impression which is gaining ground that he's just a mighty CM and not a Chief Minister of Manipur. There's also concern in the BJP is that, 10 MLAs who signed, or 10 Kuki MLAs who have signed an agreement, letter that they demand a separate administration. 7 of them are from BJP. So that there is a degree of resentment of Kuki MLAs within the BJP, and the number of seats which the BJP has is more than simple majority, but it is not an absolute majority in the sense that it cannot be destabilized. They have 32 out of 60 seats. So the growing numbers of Kuki MLAs who are voicing their discontent is also a big problem coming up for Biren Singh government and the BJP.
So are you saying that there is a split in BJP on the Kuki Methi lines?
I think yes, because if you remember, 4 to 6 MLAs they had gone to meet the central leadership and convey their frustration with the functioning of Biren Singh, who is the Chief Minister of Manipur. And if you look at the letter which has been signed, 10 Kuki MLAs have signed the letter asking for separate administration. 7 are from the BJP.
You said there can be a plan. What can be the plan, Dada?
Well, it will take some time to detail it, and I think this is not the place. But there are 3 things. First, to set up the Peace and Reconciliation Commission, bringing together some very important people, celebrities, and people who have a clear mind. Don't bring in the MLAs who are fighting like cats and dogs among themselves. So bring in people who are non-political, who have social acceptance, and who are seen across Manipur as people who are fair and just people. Secondly, get them to start a meeting. Then develop an agenda. And the agenda should include 3 things. A, the genuine aspirations of the tribals like autonomy should be on the table. But the Meitei, fears about being reduced to, a non-entity in their own state because of these land issues and all that also should be attended to. And their demand for a scheduled tribe community should also be looked into. There may be other options. You don't have to grant them ST status, but there may be other constitutional options to protect the Meiteis. They need protection, of course they do. And the third thing is, Brijesh, you were talking of boots on ground not being an answer. I will say we don't need only boots on ground here. We need heads on ground. We need heads.
I agree. I completely
heads
agree.
On ground.
No. And you need hearts.
Hearts.
So you need hearts and hearts. You didn't need
See,
56 inch
that,
chati,
that,
you need
that
a
is
big
that, that
heart.
is exactly what I said, Dada, that you don't need boots
Yes,
on ground.
yes.
What you need is people who have genuine willingness to solve this problem once for all. You don't have, otherwise
Yes.
you'll always have a fragile peace.
But there's also a saying,
Yes.
दादा दिल कैसे मिलेंगे?
You-
दिल कैसे मिलेंगे?
अरे यार, दिल मिलाना है तो हमको बुलाओ, प्यार मोहब्बत करवाना है तो हमसे करवाओ। हम यार इसके शादी उससे करवाते, ऐसे में इसका शादी बंगाली से करवाते, मणिपुरी लड़की मेरा जो बहन है बीना लक्ष्मी, उसका शादी जर्मन से करा दिया। हमारे जैसा मैच मेकर तो है ही नहीं। दिल्ली नीड्स मी यार, मैच मेकिंग कर देंगे, क्या बात है, मैट्रिमोनियल कर देंगे। यार देखो, बीरेन जी तो खुद भी जानते हैं उसका सेकंड बीवी कुकी है। तो ये जो ऐसा है ना से हालत, ये सब उतना प्रॉब्लम नहीं है जितना लोग समझते। हाँ, टाइम्स आर बैड, थिंग्स हैव रियली फ्लेयर्ड अप, violence has taken a very ugly turn, and at the moment people are paying for each other's blood. I know that. बट हिंदुस्तान में हर आदमी, हर कम्युनिटी का खून उबलता जितना जल्दी है, ढलता भी उतना जल्दी है। जितना जल्दी एक्साइट होते हैं उतना जल्दी उतरते हैं, प्रोवाइडेड द राइट स्टेप्स आर टेकन। यार इसमें जेंडर फैक्टर पे मैं बहुत बल दे रहा हूं। अलाउ द वुमेन टू टेक चार्ज। Manipuri women are very smart women. They can also be very aggressive. Yeah? You remember the demonstration in front of Assam Rifles Kangla Fort? Indian Army kam rake paas kapda utar liya. तो ये कोई बीच में चड्डी पहन के घूमने के लिए नहीं उतारा था, प्रोटेस्ट के लिए। So Manipuri women, there is a tradition of Dupi movement, but there are women in the tribal communities also. Let the ladies take over, I'm telling you.
I think that's very robustly and very clearly, lucidly put. And these are the latest visuals. Today we showed visuals of protests taking place in Delhi. We have shown you visuals from Manipur. The Chief Minister met Amit Shah. He held a press conference. Amit Shah, Joint Monitoring Committee, is looking after the weapons also. But the most important part is that now this, after this meeting, will there be any action in Manipur? Our sources are saying that, well, Biren Singh might have time on his hand. No immediate action or no immediate steps will be taken because they understand the gravity of the situation. And the gravity of the situation in Manipur is, which the visuals which are there in front of us, that people need to get back to their homes. People need to leave shelters. People need to be with their own people. People need to live together. Manipur identity has to be stronger than the Meitei, Kuki and the Naga identity. Manipuri identity need to subsume everyone, and this dislocation must come to an end. People must go back to their homes, and the administration must ensure it that people are financially compensated, they can rebuild their houses, rebuild their lives, rebuild their vocations. I think that is the only way to go in future.